Sometimes unrequited love is the most romantic love of all, and that seems to be the gentle hint in the Mood for Love, the bittersweet story of neighbors who want to fall in love but try to resist that temptation because their spouses are already having an affair and they don't want to descend to that level. When they first notice that his wife and her husband always seem to be gone at the same time, they think it's a coincidence.
係啊，佢公司有事派咗佢出門。
唔怪之成日面當撞到你啦。
呢個人費事住啦。係啊，你太太咧，呢排都唔見佢。
佢媽媽身體有啲唔舒服。
Those are Maggie Chung and Tony Leung, two of the top stars in Hong Kong, as sad and lonely neighbors whose spouses are cheating. They go out to dinner and begin to piece together the clues.
其實我先生都有條呔同你一模一樣嘅。佢話係佢事頭送俾佢嘅，所以日日都戴住喎。
我太太嘅個手都同你嗰個一模一樣。
Here's a heartbreaking scene in which they play act, trying to imagine how their cheating partners first started down the road to adultery.
你老公唔出聲啊？
我諗佢都瞓咗㗎啦。
不如今晚唔好返屋企啦。
我老公唔會咁樣講嘅。
In the Mood for Love was directed by Wong Kar-wai, one of the most gifted Hong Kong directors, and he sets it in the early 60s, saturating it with a film noir atmosphere of late nights, empty corridors, sad conversations, lonely restaurants, cigarette smoke, and always the presence of sexuality right there beneath the surface. This is a complex, subtle, grown-up, and erotic story which is about how sex and love do not always go together.
Well, it does have a beautiful film noir look and feel, but what it doesn't have is a film noir story. It doesn't have any story at all as far as I'm concerned. And I understand that it's all about choices not made and them deciding to be, as you say, better than their spouses. And you said at the beginning there that they're not going to descend to that level, although I think they would have been elevating to another level if they would have acknowledged their love. So for me, as much as I enjoyed the images, and he really does a great job of evoking Hong Kong in the early 60s, it's got a great look. I'm not recommending it because there were just too many scenes that repeated themselves. We get that they're not going to ever really talk to each other about what they're really feeling. And, the 6th or 7th time they're having noodles and not saying anything to each other is when the movie
But some of those
lost
scenes,
me.
Those are not just redundant scenes. Sometimes he deliberately does the same scene twice to show how things could have worked out differently. I think that's a stylistic choice, and I think that these two people are character studies. It would have been more routine and more ordinary if they had decided to have an affair too. And at the end, there's that ironic kind of development, which I don't want to give away, indicating that maybe things could have turned out differently. So I like the way that it really penetrates into their personality.
That finally a plot kicking in was too little, too late.
Oh, but the fact that there isn't a plot is the plot.
Well, and
it doesn't have to be, act
I
two,
got that, I
to be
understood
in
that,
bed,
but I got that, I understood that. It just didn't work for me.